Okay, my name is Andrew. Enjoyed the Woods Hole weekend. I think everybody comes here, to be totally honest, everybody comes here for different reasons. We're all looking for the same thing, but we're looking for the information and the knowledge that will give us the edge or help us, I think, make this a reality. Is it recording?
Sorry,
Okay.
go ahead.
So for me, I know there were people here who were all different skill levels, and that's part of the problem. I'm used to a more structured thing. This was very, I think, loose. The problem is, I think the question that I have is one that no one else can answer but me. And the more and more I dwell on it, I realize that. But I got a lot of nuggets here. There's a lot of good knowledge, a lot of experience, and it was definitely worth it. There's no doubt about it. I think coming here, experiencing it on the trail with people that have their knowledge and their passion to share was very insightful. Like I said, in my original, I'm looking for the things I don't even know, that I don't know, to ask the questions, and I got some of that here too. But my big question is, and I think most people is, am I ready to do the trail? Should I do the trail? Am I willing to commit? And unfortunately, I really don't think anyone else can answer that except for me. So, and that's my number one question I have. And that's something I'll have to soul search for. But other than that, the knowledge, going through the gear breakdown, going through other people's packs, we all have that apprehension about, do I need something? Do I not need it? Am I taking too much? Am I taking too little? Am I prepared properly? And I thought that was a very useful session as well, because we all know what's going on in our internal body and our struggles in our head, but to see the other people are having we all have the same questions. A lot of us do.
So is there
So I enjoy
one
that.
nugget you'll take away?
No, I can't really pin everything, but there was a lot of good information presented. And, like most things, I think even the experiences, the hikes, all these things, you absorb a lot while you're doing them. But I also think you get more after you've had a time to really absorb everything and think on it. I think it was you that brought up something. Am I going to use that? I think it was Clay that asked that, right? Are you going to use that? And, because honestly, gear is it makes your hike maybe a little bit easier or more pleasurable, but it's not going to make you walk the trail, depending on what backpack you have, or I have a warm jacket or a name brand or something. It's got to be, inside your heart, if you want to do the trail. And that seems more obvious as I come here and I meet more and more people. It's a passion. It's a desire to do the trail. And I think sometimes you just got to, just shut up and do it. And even for myself, I don't know if I'm there yet. So
what are you going to tell people when you get home about this weekend?
Oh, I had a great time. It was a good learning experience. I got a lot of good information about equipment, attitude. Obviously, gear is always a big issue. I mean, people were constantly talking about gear. They're still talking about it. I hear people talking about it. And that's always going to be something, how to start, where to start. I got my eyes open to starting at different places that I really didn't consider. To me, it's you start at Springer and you go north. And I know you can flip-flop. I know you can go south. But, I'm the gentleman that was here, Chuck, that's starting in 2 weeks, even breaking it up, doing section hikes, for instance. That's something I know it exists, but I never really considered it strongly. Being introduced to hammocks so well. I think that was a very thorough presentation. Obviously, his love of his passion for it comes through. I don't think, I think he could have spent a lot more time talking about them if given the time, but it's hard. You have so many topics to cover here. There's so much to do, and we did have a small window to do it.
I'm Betty McEnany, Grammy B. I feel good. I have this book that I've been writing questions, the Appalachian Trials, and doing all the steps. And I had a Woods Hole page, and I haven't written down one single thing. It was just relaxing and making it, everything that I'd thought of along the way, all doable. I feel very relaxed.
So is there one nugget that you'll take back with you? Anything in particular?
No, I just, it reinforced 333 or however many podcasts and the reading that I've done, yeah, no, I have no qualms. So that's big.
I do want to ask you something that's not on here that I think is pivotal. You got emotional. Was it
Yeah.
last night or this
Yeah,
morning?
no,
I think it was
last night.
Talk to us about that.
I don't know where that came from. It was the minute I opened my mouth, it came.
It happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was true. I think it was what I'm just saying, you know, realizing how relaxed and how comfortable I am. And it's because of, you know, all of you and seeing everybody that came in the door. I don't question for a minute, barring injury, that I've got this.
And I don't think your husband does either.
No, and this was really good for him because it's been on my radar screen for, you know, 2 or 3 years. And basically, I've sprung it on everybody that, you know, I'm going in March.
March 2023.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I asked him if he would come to hopefully get him so he wasn't concerned. And obviously, he's there. So
Excellent.
it's been really good for both of us.
Last question. What are you going to tell people back at home about this weekend?
That if this is on your radar screen and you think you want to do it, this will be a great tool for you to figure out, is it for you or are you going to be someone that walks away after a couple of weeks?
Ready to go.
Okay, my name is Bruce McEnany. I'm from Cavendish, Vermont. And while I'm not going to walk the Appalachian Trail, my wife is. And she picked up through podcasts that this event, workshop, whatever you wish to call it, was being held here, and said she wanted to go. So I came along too, and the good thing about it was I'm not worried about her anymore.
So, it would you not having to worry about her anymore, would you say that's the nugget of gold that you'll take away from this weekend?
Absolutely.
What were your worries before this weekend?
Exposure, meaning I was more worried about weather exposure than anything else because, you can die hypothermia in 40-degree weather if you get chilled enough. And I guess even starting out on the south and moving north and saying, well, you're in the Great Smoky Mountains. You're at elevations of over 4,000 feet. Said the weather can be fine in the valley and just awful on the ridgetop. And that was my main concern. I wasn't worried about bears. Wasn't worried about rattlesnakes. Not worried about predators on the trail. I was worried about the weather.
Then you feel better about the weather now?
Yep.
Excellent.
Well, I was the one that asked the question about lightning
Yes.
because I've had many experiences with lightning, living in the rural area. It's always a concern. The clouds roll and the thunder starts. You look around, you say, well, I better get out of here.
So, what's your perspective on this environment here at Woods Hole? Meaning, did you have any idea about the camaraderie, the magic that can happen to this
No.
place? We got really lucky last night with the group of 40 that were here. So,
No.
describe to me how you're feeling about that.
Well, I like both the places because I was also at.
You were at Weary Feet as well.
Weary Feet. I really liked it there. Although the operations are significantly different, even though they're both hostels. This has been absolutely great. Neville really puts on a good presentation in all aspects. So.
And I want to thank you because you were one of the ones, along with Pony. You went up and got us a ton of firewood. Up on the trail last night. So thank you very much for that.
You're welcome. Glad to do it.
And what are you going to talk about? What are you going to tell people when you go home about this weekend?
Well, I want to take I have some pictures. So those that I feel will appreciate it, I'll show them the pictures and talk about it and see how it was nestled in a clearing in the woods, and actually it looks an awful lot like home right here where I live.
Wow.
Yeah, it's very, very similar terrain and forest. So I felt at home, but yet I enjoyed the difference.
Excellent. Well, thanks for talking to
You're
us.
welcome.
Grammy B, we wish her nothing but success, and you as well.
Yeah, well, I think she'll do fine.
All right, go ahead.
Chuck Falkenberry, Polar Bear, and I feel awesome after this weekend, and I feel like I'm ready to go on my trek. I feel like I've been validated and got the confidence that I was looking for.
What is something that you learned that you will actually take with you that you're walking away with? Because I know you're starting in a couple weeks.
So let's see what I've learned. The shakedown was great. I learned that I've probably got a good kit ready to go. I'm going to drop off the fingerless gloves and probably pick up a plastic whistle and a couple of other items. But I also learned that there's a lot of great people out there on the trail that are ready to help. And no matter what time of year, I'm going to experience a little bit of camaraderie and individuals and places like this.
So what are you going to tell people about this weekend?
What I'm going to tell them is it's a great opportunity to meet people who have actually done the trail and get perspective. It's just it was like jumping into a fishbowl with a bunch of fish that are all experienced, ready to share their experiences. And so any questions that you had or any ideas that you might have had can be validated, or you can walk away thinking differently than what you might have already perceived.
I'm Debbie, and this weekend has been fantastic. If you are considering hiking the trail, this will give you the push over the edge to do it.
And I know you're a fan of, I've met you at HangCon. I know you're a fan of the Hiking Radio Network. So you've obviously heard hundreds of interviews.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And you love, I'm assuming you love the camaraderie, not only among us at the Hiking Radio Network, but the hiking community in and of itself. Is there one little nugget you're going to walk away here with that you'll take back with you? And if it is, what is, or could be multiple nuggets that you're going to put in your pocket?
Well, the sense of community is, once you're out here and you see and you're involved in it, it's just really everything you may have felt that was out there for it as far as a sense of community, it's here. I mean, it's amazing, the bond, especially with these young people, that they didn't know each other before they started, and you can tell they're lifelong friends, and they have a relationship that will never, be with them forever.
What are you going to tell people when you get home?
I don't want to go hike.
My name is Gail. I feel more relaxed, I guess, that I did the pack shakedown and was confirmed that what I had in mind was okay, and just confirmation of how I was going to do things, that I'm thinking the right thing and going in the right direction. So, yeah.
Excellent. Is there one nugget of gold, so to speak, that, you said, hey, yes, I've really honed in on that, and I'm going to utilize that tip or anything that you learned over the weekend that you'll take with you?
I can't think of anything in particular right off.
Sounds like the pack
Just a
shakedown
lot of
really
different.
did,
Yeah, the pack shakedown helped a lot. And then when Pony saw my tent, it's a REI tent. It's none of the fancy special ones, and what a good tent it was. And it just kind of made me feel, okay, I'm going to be okay, so.
Kind of some validation.
Yeah, validation, right.
So what are you going to tell people about this when you get home? If somebody asks you, and I'm sure they will, what are you going to say?
I would encourage them, if they're interested in hiking the trail, to do something like this, and you can learn a lot. I would definitely encourage them to do that also.
And remind us, are you class of 2023, 2024?
Of 2023, I plan to start in April.
Excellent.
Yeah.
My name's Justin. I came down here just because I really wanted to meet a group, Steve, everybody. but I knew there'd be some few hikers, more than I expected down here, but I really want to get a taste of really the hiker community. I mean, all these trails I've hiked, it's not really, I've never really had that community. So it's really different. Being on the Pinhoti or Allegheny Trail is really, I'm alone all the time, so I really don't have that community. So it's something to get used to. It's kind of overwhelming, but I mean, I enjoy it. Just seeing everybody get along. It's not something you really see out there in a lot of places.
So, is there one nugget of information that you're going to walk away here with, or maybe a couple nuggets that you've learned over the past, I mean, 24 hours?
Vagisil. That's a good. That's a good. I like. That's always good to have. I never thought. I'd never heard of that. I mean, I always use like the petroleum jelly or something like that, but I never thought about for preventive, but not taking care of that. I'm gonna try that out.
Well,
Give
that's
that a
perfect
try.
for you.
Yeah, I like that idea. But I mean, just getting to experience this whole group out here. I mean, that's basically what I'm take away, just to see what it was, more of what it's like. That's my best part about it.
And what are you going to tell? What are you going to tell your wife about this? Even though it was, I say only 24 hours, but it was a magical 24 hours because we had a great evening here last night. What are you going to say when you get home about this weekend?
Basically, just tell her what we had, dinner, all these groups. I mean, I know she'd love to come out here if she could. I mean, if she could make it out here, I know she'd be right along with everybody, getting along and just and being able to hang out with everybody.
What do you think about, and this is just a selfish question for me because I think one of the things that Neville does here with the thankful circle before we eat or have a meal, what are you thinking as people go around and say what they're thankful for? It's very powerful.
It really is. I mean, it gets people to think, really not really take the time to really think about what they're grateful for. But I mean, that's really a good part about it. You don't really stop and think about it right now until she can actually gets out and makes you think about it while everybody's going around the circle. So you never know what people are going to say, and you really got people thinking.
Tell us your name.
So I'm Kim and from North Carolina, and oh gosh, walking away from this weekend, I just feel inspired. I feel inspired. I feel enriched from this weekend. I'm the one who came to be with my friend and just hang out, and so I feel wonderful to have that time with her. But it's just been fun to experience all this along with her and everybody else that's been in the group, and this spot on Earth is just amazing. I mean, I'm going to hate leaving here. I want to come back. I can't wait to come back.
Is there one particular nugget of information, something that stands out more than anything else you learned this weekend?
Other than a couple of things. One is that this is doable, and I think for me, it's like, we hike all the time, but I thought, oh, I don't know about, can you really be out there, and especially if you're by yourself, and really do it and carry the weight and that sort of thing. And I feel like, yeah, I think that it is very doable. And I think I would just love to section hike it first and, kind of get my feet wet doing that. And, but I think the piece of information that to me was the most important, and I learned so much, was the backpack shakedowns. I thought that was like the most interesting thing, and I learned so much during that time. I thought that was really, really key. I mean, everybody learns from that.
Yeah. What are you going to tell people about this weekend when you get home?
I can't wait to get home to talk to my husband about this weekend and about what we talked about, people that I met, this place, and just the camaraderie, and the range of ages that do this, and Neville and her lifestyle running this hostel, I think is just so amazing. And I hope she does like keep a journal and write a book someday. I just think that would be, we'd all just love that. But yeah, just the experience and just being outside and enjoying that. I just totally enjoyed this weekend. I'm so glad I came.
Awesome. And see, you didn't want to interview. You were like, oh, I'm just here with her. And
I know.
I
Yeah.
knew. There's some magic.
Yeah, I got the magic.
I'm Mary, and the way I feel about walking away from this is lighter.
Wow.
We had the shakedown of the packs, and I learned so much from that and what was necessary, what's not necessary. And I'm going on a 7-day hike to the Foothills Trail tomorrow morning, and I feel so good about it. You know, just knowing that I don't need that bear can. I don't need all those bottles. I don't need all those electronic wires. So yes, I feel much better about my whole hike going forward.
Excellent. So what is something, obviously you just told us something that you learned this weekend. What is something else you learned, maybe overall, about the entire weekend?
Oh, this trail community is amazing. I mean, I knew it was good just from the hikes that I've done and running into people, but this just reinforced how good it's going to feel to meet people on the trail. You know, I know I'm going to be a solo hiker a good part of the time, but just knowing there are people out there ahead of me, behind me, at shelters, it's a really good feeling. The people come together and really hike everyone's hike in their own way, but are there for you.
Yeah.
And I really feel strongly that I have nothing to worry about.
Excellent. We love that you're saying that. That means we've done our job.
Oh my
So
gosh,
thank you.
yeah, this was just perfect timing for me. It was, I'm so glad I decided to come here and meet y'all and be just part of this weekend.
Yeah, it's hard to. It's like it's almost like this thing.
Yeah,
right?
I want to come back next year after I'm
come
finished
on.
and yeah, just beam.
So last question, what would you to say to somebody who's thinking about signing up for this Woods Hole weekend?
Oh, absolutely. Do not pass up this opportunity. Do not pass up this opportunity to learn from legends. I mean, and I consider all of you legends, you know, that what you've done, you know, to accomplish the trails that you've hiked and just your expertise and your, like, you can't do it wrong, you know. You do what you need to do, but do it smart and learn and take from their experiences.
Shawn, Livonia, New York. What an empowering weekend it was. I mean, everybody had done all their own research. They'd listen to podcasts, watch YouTube, done whatever to get ready. But to come out here and become verified is just so empowering to make you feel like, hey, I can do this. And it was just so good to not just feel it myself, but see it in the other people that were in the group. And then meeting all these hikers that come through, that was just awesome, to just how it all just came together to be an encouragement to everyone that was here.
Is there one nugget you think you'll walk away with?
Yes. Yesterday, when you said something about using hostels to park your car, take shuttles and walk to, it seems like such a small thing, but I was like, I never thought of that. I'm sitting there thinking about, my wife is very willing to help me pursue this, but I also don't want to say, okay, drive me 6 hours and then pick me up someplace else and drive another 6 hours, if there's another option. And it's like, wow, that helped. Which seems small to some people, but when you're trying to take care of your family at home. I thought that was an amazing tidbit of information that's going to be a big help for me.
What are you going to tell people when you get home about this weekend?
Huh. I don't know yet. I mean, they're going to ask me, what'd you do, those types of things, but it's going to probably be based upon how interested they are, because you hear about people, they do the hike and they talk about it, and after they get done, and then it's like everybody gets sick of it. So I want to be able to encourage people to want to continue to talk to me about it without boring them. But at the same time, I do want them to know, hey, this is my plan. This is what I want to do. I really want to pursue this. And I know that everyone in my family and those that surround me are very encouraging in that. They see it as something that's a passion that they can support. And so, I'll just talk to them about things that help keep their interest, the same way how I help my wife gain interest by vacationing in some of these areas that I'm going to get to see, as I hike through, bring her places. Yeah. So.
You never know. She might surprise you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Oh, thank you very much. And
I thought it was pretty much, I had some pretty high expectations considering that there were some really experienced presenters, and I pretty much, they were all met. I was really happy for the time and the distance I traveled.
Excellent. And what is something or multiple things that you learned this weekend? And I know you took a lot of notes, and you know what? I really appreciate that. I thought that was really, really wise.
Yeah, I don't remember things. I don't have a photographic memory, so writing things down helps. I just think, it was just a combination of the tips that they had for avoiding failures on the trail, along with the personal anecdotes, along with the little tiny little things. And then I think today, hearing Neville talk about what it was like to run a hostel.
Excellent.
And the good and the bad.
And what would you say to somebody else thinking about signing up for possibly next year's Woods Hole weekend?
I think they should definitely contact Woods Hole Hostel and get on the mailing list to be contacted, because I don't know if they were full or not, but I think some people missed out who were sitting on the fence.